Hey guys, it's Shadow the Rat, and for today's baby training session, I have little Miss Olive. So Olive will be working on some fun tricks today, and I figured we'd first start with rolling on a barrel. So we've already worked the basics of getting on the barrel, balancing a little bit, and moving it forwards. So she doesn't need to work on, figuring out what she needs to do, so much as she needs to work on improving her balance and improving the distance and duration of how long she's walking on it. So let's see how her progress is so far. It's been 2 days, I think, since she worked on this, so we might need to do a little bit of a touch-up. As you can see, she's really excited right now, and when they're really excited, sometimes they forget what they're doing, or they forget what they're supposed to be doing. She's still pretty new to training. It's only been maybe a week or so since we started, so I don't expect a crazy amount from her, because, well, she's still learning. You can see I'm not rewarding her for jumping off because she kind of forgot that she needs to go forwards. Also, my barrel is a little bit stiff, and when I say stiff, I mean it's not completely circular, or I should say cylindrical, although of course she just proved me wrong by jumping right on it and coming forwards. And of course her sister is drinking water really loudly in the cage, though to be fair, oh my god, well, never mind. Why am I even training Olive? Honestly, every single time I say something about Olive learning a trick, she goes ahead and proves to me that clearly she knows how to do it way better than I thought she did. Okay, Olive, go ahead. Show me what you're supposed to do. Oh, Olive, you are so adorable. You're so adorable. You're just a little Olive, aren't you? Can you go around it? Oh, that's going through it. Come here. Good girl. Well, she is actually doing really well. Look at her. That's such a good job, Olive. Yeah, get off there. Thank you. Can you go around it? Go all the way around. Bring that back to me. Good job. So as you can see, rats have amazing balance, especially when they're still young. And with older rats, sometimes you see them have a little bit more trouble with balance tricks like these because either they have more weight, because it's pretty common for rats to get a little bit overweight as they get older if you're not careful, especially once they get past a year or a year and a half old. And of course, you also have the fact that physically they are a little bit less, I guess I should say fit, as they get older, just because they're not working as much, they're not running around as much, so they don't have the same sort of muscle mass. Plus, you have issues like hind leg degeneration, which is especially seen in older males, but can also be seen in older females. Okay, so I'm going to stop training this one trick here because I feel like I've really done a lot on it. And so we're going to move to something else. As you can see, she is doing a great job with this. So the next thing I want to train is pushing this roll here. And I'm not sure how quickly she'll get it because she and her sister have learned to go through the roll. And I don't want that anymore. I will have a different prop for that. But for now, I need to teach her to push this. So I call this trick the MrJingles Trick. Basically, the rat will need to circle around this and push it back to me. Anyways, I'm going to start by taking some treats, breaking them into small pieces, putting them on the ground, and then putting the tube right over them. So when she goes to grab the treat, she will push the tube a little bit forwards, like you saw there, and I can then click and give her an extra treat in order to mark that behavior. So I'm going to put some treats down, put this thing here, and she's already pushing it, so I can just click when she does that, and once they start to get the idea, you can kind of push the tube on it and then make them push a little bit harder before you let go, and that really helps for the second part of the trick, which is when you want them to bring it to you fully. So the next thing you want to do is just pretend to put some treats down there, kind of point down there, and when they push it, click, give them a treat. And of course you don't have to click, you don't have to mark any behavior, but I do recommend using a clicker for more complex tricks because then it gets easier. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. So she's already getting the idea really well, and I will have her go around, circle it, and then bring it back to me, just because that is part of the trick. So to teach her to actually go around it fully, the way that I do that is I have her follow a treat, then I reward her, and then I point down, or, well, okay, she's just going to push it back to me, but usually I would just point at it, and then that would cue her to push it. Oh, and you can see she's pushing it from the other side, which is something I don't want, and so in order to not have that become a habit, I will not reward that. I will instead lead her around, and then I will let her push it back to me, and then I will reward that instead. So whenever you don't like something, all you have to do is not reward it, and they will stop doing it unless it's self-reinforcing, which in this case, this behavior is not self-reinforcing, so it's not something that they will be developing as a habit unless I reinforce it, which I'm not going to do, but she's going to be very persistent because she's a very smart little rat and she is just really trying everything possible to figure out what I want. So again, leading her around, and you also don't want them to repeat it too much because it can become part of a chain where they push it one way and then the other, which is not my goal. And sorry if you hear some chewing. Donut is inside the cage and she really wants to come out and train, and because she can't, she is chewing on the tissue paper I put on the outside of the cage because I think it looks kind of cool. But unfortunately, it's very loud around, and I'll have her push it to me. And if she doesn't push it enough, or if she tries to get out of line, I will go ahead and lead her back to the right position, have her push it, and then reward her. So it's all about rewarding what you like, not rewarding what you don't like, and that is how you get tricks done. And sometimes when I lead her around, I won't reward her in between because I'm trying to get this to be a smooth behavior. I want her to walk around it and then push it. And so in order for that to happen, at some point I will start to fade out the in-between treat, which is what I'm doing here. One thing I want to work on here after she is consistently pushing it to me, and I kind of reward it out of position, which you don't want to do. But anyways, the next thing I want to work on is adding some motion. So I don't just want her to run around and bring it back to me, although that is part of it. So you can see by rewarding out of position early on, that kind of gives her the wrong idea. It's always a good idea to reward in position, especially in the beginning when they don't really know what you want them to do, especially if you need them to do a little bit more duration, like here where I want her to push it several times. Okay, so the next step here is to roll it a little bit, and if she doesn't get the idea, then I have her go around it, just kind of signal her with my hand, and then I give her the treat. And this is because in the end I want to be able to roll it, have her walk around it, and then bring it back to me, just like Mr. Jingles does in the movie The Green Mile. Okay, let's see if she figures out. And I don't want her to, I did roll it a little bit far that time. Good job. I do want her to roll it to me several times, but even if she doesn't completely get it to me because it's early on, I will be rewarding her, but I might ask for her to push it twice if she isn't rolling it very far the first time. I'm gonna lead her around it. Good job. So if she doesn't follow it, doesn't go around it, then I will just go ahead and kind of point her in the right direction. And you do want them to be trying on their own, trying different things, but you don't want them to get frustrated. So it is a good idea to, keep helping them out the whole time. You don't want to compare rats. You don't want to put a time limit on your training, because if you do, then it's not going to be as fun. You're more likely to get frustrated or confused. Same for your rats. You just don't want it to be a negative experience. So, it's always a good idea to keep in mind that you should be making progress. So if you aren't making any progress, then something's definitely going wrong. But if you're not seeing drastic progress, then that's just fine. And I do want to mention that the progress you see in these videos with these girls are really awesome for training because they're very confident, they're very food motivated, even at a young age. So they are learning really quickly, and that's very normal for rats. They learn very quickly, but what's not always normal for them is learning quickly when they start out. And that's just because a lot of times they start out less confident, less focused, and so just you might see a few different things pop up. Depending on your rats, you might need to work more with the lure, you might need to work more on getting them focused, and it might just take them more time to really get into training, and that's completely fine. Actually, part of the reason I can do this series is because these girls are really good at focusing early on, which is not something you always see. And like I was saying to another commenter, if you don't see this in your rat, it doesn't mean that they're not trainable. Most of my rats haven't started out this focused, and that's kind of why I wasn't able to do a training series video with Mocha and S'more, which were /are, because I have S'more, and unfortunately Mocha passed away a few months ago. But the reason I wasn't able to do a training series with them when they were babies is because, unfortunately, they were just very shy. You see, now I'm asking her to push it multiple times. I'm going to see if she thinks to do it, and then I will give her a treat. I should have marked there, but I didn't. So I'm just going to try throwing it one more time, see how she does. There she goes. Come on. Good job. So I wanted her to push it a little bit closer to me, which is why I waited. But that was really good, and she clearly has the idea down and is circling it. So I don't really want to work anything else new. We already worked on a new trick there, which you saw with the MrJingles trick. We worked on having her improve her barrel rolling skills. You just saw her spin right there. I do like to add some tricks in that she knows really well because that helps to boost their confidence. That makes training more fun for them. And otherwise, I am going to just ask her to back up a few times, see if she remembers that. Yep, she remembers it. She's doing really well. And then I'll ask her to jump to hand, and then we will be done. So that is it for this session. And I won't be showing her sister Donut in this session because, well, I feel like these videos are going to be too long if I show both, but I will be showing her in the next session, so look forward to that. So good job, little Olive! And I will see you guys later. Bye!